Good morning and welcome to Morning Brew on this Bank Holiday Monday. It is Monday the 27th of May 2024, and as always, well done on making it this far. I'm just going to say hello to as many people in the chat as I can. I've got Richard Fraser in there, we've got David Downey, we've got Richard... we've got Benjamin, we've got Yurosh is in there, we've got Duke and Gallifrey and Wren, we've got Johan Besruth, we've got Robert, we've got Paul, we've got Owen, we've got Richard, we've got Richard again, different Richard, we've got Jane, we've got Vendetta is in the chat, hello, we've got Viv Burgess, we've got Graham Haller, we've got Simon. Anyway, so, National Service. Let's get into it, shall we? So, there's been an argument put forward that young people did their national service when they stayed in their formative years and missed exams, GCSEs, A-levels, spent a year out of university when they should have been in university. They've already done their national service by literally preventing old people from getting COVID, which is the opposite of what the Tories did, because they literally sent people they knew who had COVID into nursing homes and let them die. Oh, and take a bunch of other old people out with them. Over 18,000 people died that way because of the Tories. But, you know, young people, what can you do with them? I actually saw, I mean, you would have seen this if you have anyone over the age of 50. Not all old people, not everyone over the age of 50, but just, the ones on Facebook who like to post, bring back national service. I never had to do it, but, these kids today, blah, blah, blah. Let's talk about kids today. Kids today commit less crime. They take less drugs. They don't smoke as much. They don't drink as much. Kids today are a lot more tolerant than the generations that came before them, even my generation. Kids today are some of the brightest and best generation of kids we've ever had. Over 50% of them are going to university now, thanks to Tony Blair's initiative to try and get more and more young people into university. And I know that university is not for everyone. But this idea that we take 18-year-olds and we train them how to kill because reasons. And this is being put forward by the same generation that had the punks in the 1970s, when there was no national service and people were, dressing up like lunatics and smashing things up for fun. Yeah. There's also the generation that grew up in the 80s. In the 90s, in the noughties, all saying, do you know what? The real problem isn't old people voting to destroy their children's futures. It's young people. That's the big problem we have in society right now. Not all old people vote to destroy their children's futures, just the ones who voted for Brexit. Anyway, so this is the great Tory idea. And like the title of this video says, are they trying to lose? I think they are. I think they've got to be trying to lose because nobody wants this. No one in their right mind wants it. There might be a few daffy people with a Spitfire avatar on their Twitter account who go on and on about the war that they were never involved in, had nothing to do with, taking credit for other people's heroism, other men's and women's heroism. Okay. They're the ones going, we bring back national service. I never had to do it, but it will be great for them. Yeah. They're not going to vote Conservative, ever. They're voting Reform in this election, mate, because they're petty-minded bigots. It goes with the territory. Just get into a conversation with them. And they will, like Nigel Farage over the weekend, start saying that the big problem is Muslims coming over here and integrating. Yeah. And, well, they're not integrating right. Well, you do know that the mayor of London is Muslim, right? Yeah, that seems pretty integrated to me. He's won 3 elections. That sounds pretty integrated. Oh, yeah, but they've got a different religion. What, like our Prime Minister, who's a Hindu? You mean that different religion? Oh, no, not that different religion. I mean Muslim. Okay, what about the people who came over here in the 1960s and 70s from Bangladesh and Pakistan? What What religion do you think they were? Oh, no, but they're different. And he's been interviewed by Trevor Phillips. I don't know why he's on the TV at all. He's not standing for election. He's not leading a party. And yet he's allowed to go on TV and be a massive racist. Because that's what he is. He's a fascist, Nigel Farage. And Trevor Phillips challenged him on it and said, I'm second generation immigrant. Like, my forebears were Muslim and we were forcibly converted to Christianity by the slave owners who owned my family. And Nigel Farage was like, well, whatever. And you're like, what? And these are the people who have so much power in our country. So much power. They control everything you see, hear, and read. Everything. Except for this, maybe. Except for this channel and Phil Morehouse and our friends who actually, make this content, which were apparently, I was told last night on Twitter, we're supposed to do for free. Because, they want only Nepo babies to be able to make content. I don't think that's how it works. I think that anyone should be able to make content and say, hey, if you want to give me a super chat, that's great. No, you can't do that. That's scrounging, that's begging, it's being a grifter. No, it's not. I'm providing content every day, making content, working on content. Takes a long time. But why do the people who went to private school and get a cushy job on Radio 1, why do they get paid for their content and we don't? And we get paid less than a tenth of what they get. I mean, I'm really appreciative of the super chats coming in, and I will go into them in a second. But we get about £1 or £2 per 1,000 views on these videos off the advertising, which annoys everyone. Everyone's like, why are you putting these bloody adverts on it? I'm like, well, So my most successful video on this channel so far has made about £27 off advertising. And so, yeah, we are reliant on crowdfunders. We are reliant on Ko-fi or Patreon or Super Chat. So, yeah, just if anyone's watching this thinking, these left-wing grifters asking for money for providing content and entertainment, how bloody dare they? I'm just like, do you do that to actors? Do you do that to Benedict Cumberbatch? You say, hey, you, providing entertainment for money, you bastard. In fact, anyone who does a job, anyone who does any work, how dare they? How dare they ask for money? Those disgusting capitalist hypocrites. All right, mate. Anyway, moving on. Thank you very much to Gary. I'm glad to get that off my chest. Thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Really appreciate that. Bank Holiday Fund, get outdoor knocking, phone banking and leaflets. Get the Tories out. Well, Gary. Well, I've got some news for you. I have just, literally 5 minutes ago, just before we started this broadcast, 10 minutes ago now, I registered stopthetories.com. Sorry, no, stopthetories.vote. That would exist. No, crushthetories.com. And the plan is we're going to be the militant wing of stopthetories.vote. So they're going to be doing all the nice things and we're just going to be horrible. We're just going to run a really horrible negative campaign against the Tories, not for any political party at all, not for any political party, but just against the Tories. Just really making a lot of content slagging off the Tories. So watch this space for the crushthetories.com revolution as it comes. David Welsh, thank you very much for the €5 super chat there, mate. That's really kind. And we always like getting euros on this show because we are very pro-European. Because it's our continent and also the best continent in the world. I don't think the Brexiteers know that or think that, which is sad. Modern warfare for the UK involves the deployment of sophisticated war machines, not the levée en masse of infantry conscription. I'm 54, by the way. That's from David Welsh. Yeah, and I'm saying that there is a small number of people over the age of 50 who think that national service is a good idea. and if they didn't have to do national service themselves, it kind of gets my back up. But even if they did have to do national service, the fact that Elvis had to do national service and they tried to make Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, do national service and he said no and they put him in jail. I mean, just all that kind of thing is just like, I don't want to live in that society. And the way that James Cleverly, the antidote to nominative determinism, he said on yesterday, yeah, it's voluntary. And they're like, oh, so it's not compulsory. No, it will be compulsory. Okay, what sanctions will there be? Oh, well, it won't be against the law to volunteer. Compulsory volunteer. Okay, mate. Craig, thank you very much. Betting there'll be an Antonian get-out clause. Thank you very much for the super chat. Yes, you are absolutely 100% spot on the money there, sir. Because, yes, there is an Etonian get-out clause. There absolutely is. And it's this. If you don't want to do national service, you can volunteer at the weekends instead. Which is fine for rich kids who are living at their parents. Doesn't matter. But for everybody else, people who maybe go into work at the age of 18, they might not have the weekends free. They might be working at the weekend because there's a good chance getting on the first rung on the ladder, they're going to be working in the service industry. You know, they might be working in catering. Yeah, try getting a Friday and Saturday night off if you work in a restaurant. Good luck with that. Or a bar. Good luck with that. I like the idea that it's okay, they can just drop their commitments to their work when you're doing the kind of jobs where you probably do have to work at the weekend. You're working in retail, you have to work on Sundays. Like, just this idea that we're just going to go, oh no, we can drop it because we're gonna volunteer in the community. No. Do you know what I think they should do? Bring in volunteering for retired people, because they're literally not doing anything. Why is someone calling me? Why is someone calling me in the middle of a show? Why is, oh no, I'm just getting lots of messages. Oh, I just got a new Patreon. Oh, thank you. Thank you for my new patron. I've got a new patron. Chris, thanks, Chris. You're awesome. It's got a message in my pocket. I thought someone was calling me. Richard Fraser, thank you so much for the super chat. Do you want a super chat for your super hat? Thank you very much. I feel a bit bad about my hat these days because I think George Galloway has done to hats what, Jeffrey Epstein did for owning islands in the Caribbean. Hashtag just saying. Shouldn't laugh at my own joke, should I? But yeah, thank you very much for loving the hat. I'm quite attached myself. I've had this hat, not this particular hat, but this type of hat, now for 22 years. 22 years I've had it on my head. Wow. Super chat. Thank you very much to Paul Ewan there. I'm donating. Stick it to the man. Thank you very much, Paul. That's really kind. And Parit Shah says, keep up the good work. Oh, thank you, Parit. That's really nice of you as well. I'm just going to put it through. Where's my super chat animation? Where is it? Oh no, that's the intro animation. What am I doing? What are you doing, Graham, you crazy fool? Hey, it's bank holiday. Come on. I shouldn't even be working today. Not that this is really working, is it? Etc. Loving that, Graham, says Jane Lockwood. We've got Helen Wilkes. Thank you very much for the super chat there, Helen. That's really kind of you. And we've got... Oh my God, what is going on? Why is it... Every time I try and do a super chat animation. There you go, super chat. Thank you. That's for Helen. Helen, that's for you. Your own little animation there. By the way, just if anyone was watching on Friday when I had horrific technical issues, because I've got a show on here, the Zoom call. And as soon as I pressed go live, it was just like the sound went, the audio went. I then had to spend half an hour fiddling around with the settings, trying to get it as basic as possible in order for it to sort of work. But the frame rate was awful, and I was just cringing with embarrassment because I've just literally got a new laptop because of the problems that I'm on holiday at the moment in Scotland with my family. The problems I was having with my old laptop, where it was just kind of overheating when I was trying to do live shows, especially when I was pulling in video from. Don't forget, I've got to pull it in from this camera. That's got to go through to Zoom, and then I've got to show the Zoom, and then I've got to send that out to YouTube. So there's lots of video streams going at once, and my old laptop just wasn't handling it. Anyway, I sorted it. I fixed what the problem was. Do you want to know what the problem was? I had my laptop plugged in to the USB-C charger rather than the big charger that came with it, right? And I realised after the show, I went, oh, it seems really obvious now. USB-C is only 45 watts. The big charger here is 120 watts. So there were literally not enough electrons in my laptop. And that's why it was running like a bag of old potatoes on Friday night. Sorry about that. Anyway, thank you, Helen, for the super chat. And thank you, Scott, saying, how dare you accept this super chat? I will, Scott. I will accept this super chat. And you can't stop me. This is great. Brilliant plan. That's from Jane Lockwood. Another super chat there. Brilliant plan, Graham. I'm in. Yeah, so what we're going to try and do is we're going to be trying to make at least 3 bits of anti-Tory content each day. It's not going to just be me. Hopefully it's going to be other content creators who you know and love. And we are going to try and flood social media with these fake ads for the Tories, for like just attack sections, just like 1 minute of too much information in which I lay out something horrible that a Tory has done. And the idea with this isn't to preach to you, because that would be preaching to the converted, but getting these videos, getting this content into places where people might be tempted to vote Conservative. So it's a big job, and we're going to work with stopthetories.vote on things like finding out which Facebook groups, local Facebook groups, are available for us to join and put our content into. Bit subversive, I know, but it's not against the law. In areas where there's a chance we could unseat the Tory MP, which is the plan for every seat in the country. Because we don't just want the Tories beaten, we want them crushed to dust. Anyway, thank you very much to Jane there. Oh, I've got loads more super chats to go through. QA Library, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. How did you find my maths stroke cost of the national service? I don't know if I responded to that on Twitter yesterday, QA Library, but I responded to someone who was pointing out they did the maths and it wasn't 2.5 billion it would cost a year. It was 25 billion that it would cost a year, which is just outrageous. Colin Baker, there you go. Are you still doing the chat with Terry Christian? Yeah, I hope so. So we rescheduled it for Thursday, but then the election was called. So it was like, shit. So we might try and reschedule it at some point this week, but we will let you know. We will be doing that. It'll be me and Terry Christian talking about the private school mafia, whose website got promoted this weekend by Carol Vorterman. I was like, she's got like 1 million followers, and she put out privateschoolmafia.com and said, look at this list. This is insane. I was like, yeah, go Carol. So she's following me on Twitter now. Yeah, new friends. Super chats or appreciation for what you provide, says Commander DJ Burp. Thank you so much. I take back everything I've ever said about DJs and commanders and burps. You are absolutely awesome. Have a super chat on me. We love you, Graham. Oh, thank you, Sarah. That's so kind. Thank you very much. And if I could get the animation to work. There we go. I had a conversation with Abe Thompson this weekend, and he's like, how'd you get the super chat animation to come up? Because he thought it was automated, and I'm like, no, I've literally got to press a button on my laptop for it to work. Gary Arnold, thank you very much for the super chat. Happy bank holiday. It is a happy bank holiday because in 6 weeks' time, we're going to be waking up on Monday morning, and there's going to be no Tory government. They're not going to be in charge. In fact, if things go well for us, for a change, we could see them down to double figures. They could be even less than that. The Lib Dems are targeting 90 seats. It's really interesting, and I suppose we could do a whole show on this, but Labour are quite obviously not targeting certain seats, so much so that if you go on their website and you type in that you live in a particular area, how can I help out? If it's one that they've kind of given to the Lib Dems, they don't tell you to canvass in that area. They'll tell you to go to the next constituency and meet up with whoever and go and canvass there. This is what happened in 97, by the way. So just so you know, you can't have an official pact. You can't have a thing where two parties come together and work together to beat the Tories. So the Lib Dems can't team up with Labour or the SNP or Plaid Cymru. The reason being is that you have a set amount that you're allowed to spend in an election campaign. And if you have two parties, they can each spend that amount. If they come together they can spend half of that. So each, well, I mean, between them. So basically, instead of it being 100 million that you can spend in a campaign, it'll be 50 million each, because obviously there's two parties. I don't think I explained that very well, but you know what I mean. Basically, instead of having two loads of funds, you can only have one maximum. The maximum basically halves. Yeah, that's where I should put it. Instead of being two parties and you can spend £200 million altogether, you can only spend 100 million, if that's how much it is. So that's why they don't do official pacts, but an unofficial non-aggression pact was something that was done in 97 between Tony Blair and Paddy Ashdown, the then leader of the Lib Dems. And it was incredibly successful at getting a lot of Lib Dems into Parliament and absolutely decimating the Tories to about 150 MPs. And we are on course to have even fewer Tory MPs in this election. Did I say Labour? The Tory MPs. 100, less than, what was it? It was about 159, I think, Tory MPs in 1997. It was a goddamn landslide. Things could only get better. And you know what? They did. They absolutely did. And if you hear one of these Tory people, these people who support the Tories saying, oh, but Labour always leave the economy in a worse state than they found it, right? Ask them to go to Google and say, type in UK GDP, right? And it comes up with a little interactive chart of our GDP, and get them to put the pointer on 1997 and then tell you how much it is. It says $1.5 trillion. Then get them to put the pointer on, just hover, on 2007, right? 10 years of Labour government, and our economy has doubled in size. It has doubled. It has increased by 100%. It is now $3 trillion. It's gone from 1.5 trillion to $3 trillion. Then go to the end of the graph, which goes up to 2022, and ask them how much it says then. It's $3 trillion in 17 years. It hasn't grown at all. But you know what has grown? Our population. So less money per person. It's the Tory way. Not less money for them, though. Sarah S., thank you very much for the £10 super chat. That is really kind of you. Thank you very much. Sarah just says, have a great day. You have a great day too, Sarah S. You are awesome. Yeah. And I hope it doesn't rain too much where you are. Gary, thank you very much. Worth getting a list of battleground seats. We in Corby and East Northants are 85th, a bellwether target. Fantastic. Yes, we'll be working with the stopthetories.vote team. They're hopefully going to be getting their website online this week. I don't know if you know this, but no one was expecting this election, and we'd heard election rumours so many times this year and kind of got our hopes up, and then Finally, they were like, yeah, we're going to go and have the election now. We're like, well, we're not ready. And it turns out that two of the lead programmers, website builders for the stopthetories.vote website, are currently away on holiday. So yeah, after the bank holidays, should be back and working on the website, and hopefully we'll have it up and running in terms of being able to type in your postcode, and it'll tell you who to vote for in your constituency. Hopefully that'll be ready by the end of the week. Viv Burgess, thank you very much for the super chat. I think the Tories dropping out shows that it was all about snouts in the trough and not representing their constituents or even party and the country. Yeah, I was thinking about this. There's so many Tories dropping out, and they're not going to get a job, are they? Would you employ a Tory? Just tell me in the chat, right? Would you employ one of the red wall Tories who got in 2019, did nothing, just made things worse, didn't apply for any levelling up funding? Oh, by the way, the money for this national insurance idea, the idea for this national service idea by the Tories, apparently it's going to come from the levelling up funding. So no more levelling up, just 18-year-olds learning how to kill. And so part of me that thinks, hang on, so what you're doing is taking all the rights and dignity and money and chances of buying a house in their lifetime, chances of ever retiring off these young people. You're piling on the stress and the discomfort to young people who are already suffering from absolutely record levels of mental health issues, and you're going to train them how to kill? Like, I mean, all things being equal, I think it's a bad idea, right? But if I didn't, like, I'm not one of the people that probably go after when they pull a private pile. But, like, I mean, the Tories in their gated communities, in their mansions, like, are they not putting two and two together here, thinking maybe we shouldn't train an entire generation of young people to hate us and then teach them how to kill? I mean, like, who would put those two things together? Except a screaming lunatic. But this is where I think they're trying to lose. Honestly, I think they are trying to lose. I think that Rishi Sunak was threatened with a vote of no confidence, and he just went, F it, I don't care, I'm going out, I'm calling a general election, there's nothing you can do about it, you're all going to lose your jobs. Owen Knight, thank you very much for the super chat, mate. I really appreciate that. That's good. If you're going for people on the fence, you need to address extremism, migration, and address their concerns about trans rights. A mere trans rights and human rights won't resonate with the right. Yeah, no, I'm not going after that. I'm not going after. I'm not even going to discuss the things that they think are nice, like transphobia. They think that's nice. So sending an advert out, well, not an advert because that costs lots of money, but doing this a bit more, in a way that doesn't cost as much. It's a lot more effective, a lot more bang for your buck. But we make decent content and then we put it under the noses of the people who need to see it. But no, I'm not going for those pressure points because there's literally no point. I can't change the mind of someone who's never thought about trans people in their entire life. They're now 72 years old and suddenly they've read in the newspapers that trans people are the cause of all life's problems, just like immigrants are, just like single mothers were back in the 1980s when they got blamed for absolutely everything, and the 1880s and the 1780s and just all the way back through time, really. Single mothers, how dare they, but anyway, but yeah, I'm not doing that. We'll be going for pressure points that we think that they will respond to, like the fact that the Tories were partying all through COVID, because I guarantee that pretty much everyone of the older generation knows someone who died or was in a bad way as a result of COVID while the Tories partied. And that image of the Queen on her own at her husband's funeral is really, really powerful. And we need to drill that into people like, this is what the Tories have done. So my particular idea for one of the series of shorts is going to be for to have an old person talking about something awful that the Tories did, i.e., infected everyone in the nursing home with COVID, and then saying, best we forget, and making out like it's an advert for the Tory party. They did this awful thing, but, best we forget. And then we can tap into that kind of war nostalgia, we'll meet again, Spitfires, etc. So, yeah, that would be cool. Right, would you sleep with a Tory, says Ian Clark. Never knowingly. Johan says, employ red wall Tories to shovel manure. They'll have to bring their own though, or they'll nick the companies. Indeed. Yeah, the youth slavery scheme. Listen, if I've missed any, because we got a lot of super chats in this morning, if I missed any, can you please let me know? You can't reason someone out of a position they didn't use reason to get into. Wonderful quote there from Don't Do That by Christopher Hitchens, who was the first person, I think, who said that. I don't know if he robbed it off someone else, but it is a fantastic point. You can't reason someone out of a position they didn't use reason to get into. Absolutely bang on the money. Joe Lefty and also Sick Edge putting up trans pride flags, and it is coming up to Pride Month in a couple of days' time, which is quite exciting. And meanwhile, some absolute loser on the internet, I've forgotten his name, he was married to one of the assistants from Doctor Who was great, by the way, and he wanted to get like notoriety or something, so he went in his back garden on his birthday this weekend and burnt pride flags, because that's what you do when you're, I don't know, a divorcee in your 50s and you've got nothing left to lose, really. And I don't know, maybe Maybe his ketamine supply is running out. Yurosh, thank you very much. Oh, crystal meth, actually. He looks, I don't know, I can't remember his name, but he looks like, when they have the before and after picture of crystal meth, like this is before crystal meth, this is after crystal meth. He looks like all the after pictures put together. I forget his name. He was married to Billy Piper. I don't know what he does. I don't know if he has a job. I know he was born posh and he went to Harrow, which explains a lot. Yovash, thank you very much. Well, if you are Sunak level rich, you don't have to take shit even from rich and powerful people. He might well just had enough. Yeah, exactly. Well, he knows that his kids wouldn't be called up for the national service that he's imposing on everyone else's kids. It will be the kids who can't do the voluntary stuff because they're not getting paid for that. You will get paid for doing your national service, not very much, but it's enough to cost the taxpayer £25 billion a year to train young people how to kill. And I know you learn more than that in the army, but what the army needs right now is not young people learning basic drills. We need qualified technicians, drone pilots, people who are absolutely top of their league at what they do. Don't forget the Tories took the size of the army from around 120,000 to around 80,000, the smallest standing army we've had since, I don't know, the Elizabethan era. They're quite happy with that. So if you're going to have fewer people in the army, the idea that we're flooding it with people who were there for 1 year is completely pointless. It's not going to help our defence, and it's, to be honest with you, I don't know if it's going to help them. People seem to think that, like, if we have national service, then there'll be less kids on the streets causing trouble. There'll be less knife gangs and stuff. We've got this obsession that there's somehow more crime than ever before, when actually there isn't. And you look at that and you go, hang on, whoa. Just have a look at this for a moment. We had national service until the 60s, right? My dad did national service in Germany. And his generation saw the biggest spike in history of serial killers. In the 1980s, the number of serial killers, many of whom had done national service, was off the freaking charts. And then it came right back down again a decade later. If you look at that chart of the number of serial killers, it is terrifying. And there's a lot of reasons why that might be. Generational trauma from their parents who fought in the war. And also, maybe they learned to kill. Maybe someone taught them how to kill people efficiently. The most efficient way of ending another human's life. And I'm sorry, but not the thing that I think most 18-year-olds need to know right now. I think they need to know how to live life, to have practical skills that they can transfer to their work. They need to have things that they can do that AI can't. How about, instead of national service, we bring in universal basic income for everyone turning 18 next year? That's it. End of. Starmer's starting his speech shortly. Will you be streaming it? I wasn't going to, just because I'm on me jollies. I'll see what's happening with the family, if they're going out or whatever. But I might do. And don't call me Shorty. Joke. Tories, I'm gonna finish off in a minute. I'll just get through some of the chat before I go. Nepo Baby Fox, that's his name. Nepo Baby Loser Fox, that's the one. I watched the first 30 seconds of Labour Files and don't know how people can support Labour. Well, I mean, Labour Files was made by Tories. It was made by Conservatives who have an agenda to discredit the current Labour Party because they're the biggest threat to the Tory party. So, yeah, follow the money. That's what I say. Follow the money. Don't forget, everything you see, everything you hear, everything you read is owned by the private school mafia, or put in front of you by the private school mafia, by the likes of Murdoch and Rothermere and Barclay and Richard Desmond and all those lovely people. All those government policies come up with in the minds of people like Dominic Cummings and Michael Gove and Boris Johnson and other, toffs. They control everything. And it is very disturbing how much power Murdoch has. And I'm going to keep saying this until the day that he finally cocks it and we can have a party. Murdoch was born 100 years ago, 10,000 miles away. He's never lived in this country. He's never paid tax in this country. He's never been a British citizen. And yet, his hold over the understanding of the world in this country is absolutely abominable. And yeah, follow the money. That's all I'm saying. Follow the money. Damien Pritchard, last super chat of the morning, I think, but thank you very much. YouTube ads, do I have to watch the whole ad for you to get paid? No, just knock it off as soon as possible. That's what I'll do. I find them infuriating, and yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? Sorry that we have to live in a world where adverts exist, but no, don't feel that you have to watch the whole things. But thank you very much for the super chat anyway, Damien. Christopher says, Chris Evans and Fox's progression. Maybe she woke up and understood her errors. Maybe she's just a sadomasochist. Don Dudat says, sorry, you're talking about Billie Piper there, because she was married to Chris Evans, not Captain America Chris Evans, but don't forget your toothbrush, Chris Evans. Don Dudat says, many young people joined the armed forces because it was their only option of getting a job or getting training. That's why the Tories kept some areas very poor. Yeah, don't do that. I absolutely agree with that. The whole thing is set up to disenfranchise and discredit the poor. I mean, from the start. We worked out this weekend, because we were talking about the private school mafia, and after Carol put her tweet out about it, people were saying, yeah, but if you close down all the private schools, then people will join state schools and there won't be enough money and there won't be enough teachers. Bollocks. To anyone who says that, bollocks. Once you take into account all of the state subsidies in terms of VAT exemption, in terms of capital gains tax exemption, all of the funds and things that schools can access and that parents can access in order to offset the cost of sending little Giles or Jeremy or Tarquin to the posh school, it costs the state £25,000 per pupil to send kids to private school. We subsidise them up the kazoo. Meanwhile, a private school, a state school kid costs the state a year around £7,000 on average per student. We would save billions if we close down all the private schools tomorrow, which is something I think we should do. In the event of war, I'm a hostage, says Gary Arnold. Oh, no, don't be a hostage. And Christopher says, Murdoch was an Oxford student, he PPE and has a house near Henley. That's Christopher Bowles. Okay, well, maybe he lived here. He's never been a British citizen, though. And he's never paid tax. Paul Ewan used the so-called national service to create trade schools, pay retired people well to teach construction, computing, HGV, driving, and other skills. Yeah, absolutely. The idea of having some kind of land army that's voluntary that you can join as a pensioner, as a dad's army kind of thing, where you look after the environment in your local constituency and you pass on your wisdom in your local constituency. Brilliant. I'm up for that. I am very, very much up for that. But this idea that we've got to compel young people to volunteer when they've got so much on their plate, it's painful. And I get my back up when people say, oh, young people don't bother to vote. And I'm like, yes, I know, because they've got so many other things going on. They're not retired. They're not bored. They're not sitting there watching 15-1 going, oh, I wish something would happen. Oh, look, there's an election. I'll go and vote. They're dealing with jobs. They're dealing with university. They're dealing with work. They're dealing with relationships. They're dealing with going out and meeting people and having a good time and enjoying their youth. But no, see, Tories don't look at it like that. They don't look at people and go, oh, yeah, you deserve a decent quality of life. They're like 30p Lee. They go, you need 30p to survive. That's the basic amount you need to survive on. They look at a movie like Survivors in the what's it called? Society of the I forgot what it's called now. Society of the Snow, or Alive, about the Uruguayan plane crash in the Andes in the 1970s. And they look at that and they go, well, that's all you need to survive, as long as you've got some people and you can eat them. That's all you need. You don't need money. You don't need you don't need training. You just need some, I don't know, dead people in the Andes, and you can survive 2 months off that. Surviving is not living, to put it that way. Right, I've got to go. It's 10 past. I've babbled on far too much. I'm very happy that this It's worked, which is cool. Thank you very much. And thank you very much to all the people in the chat. And Phil will be back in the morning at 9:30. I don't know why I had a brain fart there. He'll be back in the morning at 9:30 with another morning brew. I'm going to talk to Terry Christian today, maybe do the show that I was planning to do with him, called Kicking the Privates. Hopefully we'll get that done at some point this week, so look out for it. I will put it up way in advance so you know that it's going to start at a certain time. If we can do it at 8 o'clock tonight, I will do it at 8 o'clock tonight. Flint Mead said, been watching Vincent for a while. Now he's a troll, only here to rubbish later for his spoiler party. You need more mods, son. Well, you know, we don't get that many. We have got mods on here, and if anyone is set as a mod, you can get rid of whoever you want. I don't care. Yeah, the people who are attacking Labour now have to be Tories. There's no two ways about it. You have to be, unless you're Scottish and you're supporting the SNP, and then I'll go, okay, I get it. I get that. But if you are attacking Labour right now in the UK, you are definitely helping the Tories. And I hope that you know that, and I hope that you feel proud about the fact that you are helping the sadistic F-wits who have been in charge for the last 14 years to get another 5 years. And I'm very happy for you that you have the money and the security of knowing that you and everyone you love will be fine for another 5 years. I love the idea that you know that your mum's not going to need a hip replacement and have to wait in crippling pain for 2 years to get the operation. I love that for you. I'm very, very, very happy for you that you know that, and you know deep down in your heart that you will survive another 5 years of Tory sadism. The rest of us, not so lucky. That's my take on it. So, thank you very much for the chat. Thank you very much to all the socialites, except for that one. And thanks so much for the super chats. It's really kind and generous. Give us a like on the way out, and we'll see you again soon. And until then, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.